Lace making, the beautiful art that from a single thread allows the creation of beautiful masterpieces, appeared as a new technique in textiles in Europe in the 16th century and quickly took hold among both the laity and the clergy. Rich houses and great churches soon gathered significant amounts of lace, marking it as a luxury item whose prestige was equal to that of gold, silver, and diamonds. The history of Gorizian lace, and specifically of bobbin lace, is closely linked to the history of the monastery of St. Ursula, which was soon to become one of the most prominent institutions in the religious and cultural history of the area. The founding group was led by the superior Caterina Lambertina de Paoli Stravius and by the prefect Angela Aloysia, both from Liège. The Company of St. Ursula was founded in 1535 in Brescia by St. Angela Merici, and from there it quickly spread to Italy, Germany and France, resulting in various affiliates. The Liège branch actually came from the monastery of Bordeaux, which created the monastery of Cologne and Prague. Ursulines from Liège, Cologne and Prague, following Caterina Lambertina Paoli Stravius, founded the monastery of Vienna, which in turn opened the monasteries of Gorizia, Graz, Ljubljana and Cividale. At that time, Gorizia was part of the Habsburg Empire. Built at the foot of the hills where the castle was built, the entire monastery extended from there. According to a map dating back to 1823, the monastery extended from Via delle Monache to today's district of Becelli or Merelli, connecting the ancient center of the city built at the foot of the castle to new areas of its expansion. These nuns, active in the territory, dedicated to industry and to education, created a boarding school that was accessible to students who were not dedicated to monastic life, and a small artisanal textile laboratory. This activity over time became not just an economic resource for the monastery, but an integral part of the education of young girls, as well as young women's livelihood. The sisters made lace and therefore taught lace making. The lace makers prepared their own designs and drawings, combining their different motifs to constantly create something new. These drawings were copied for distribution to the students or to show and repeat a particular pattern for special decorative embroidered edgings. The Ursulines of the city produced handmade and bobbin lace as a source of income. Placed for sale, their work was a source of revenue. The monasteries acquired wire, bobbins, pins, and even ready-made lace from Chioggia and from Carniola, used according to monastery records to refine ecclesiastic linens, although the hard-working workshop was not totally self-sufficient. Despite the many ups and downs and the destruction of their site during the First World War, the patrimony of the monastery has been preserved almost intact to today, largely because of the protection of the religious order that created it, and in part to the collections held by the provincial museums of Gorizia. Among the sacred furnishings of the monastery is a beautiful vestry piece of furniture, the beautiful figure of St. Ursula carved in wood from a linen tree from 1738, as well as that of Sant Agostino. Besides lace, the Ursuline Sisters of Gorizia also dedicated to making the Agnus Dei. These were printed wafers made of wax mixed with dust of relics. They were inserted into coverings made of cloth and elaborately decorated.
Inside the monastery, the art of needlework was practiced at the highest level, as seen in the Baroque paintings of Fleck, the German name for Fleckarbeit, a type of patchwork where scraps of previous fabrics were joined by embroidery. Various types of lace are still preserved in the convent, as well as the tools used to make it, such as the bobbins and many lace pillows, all documenting the lacework performed in the monastery.
The lace preserved in the monastery today includes some edgings of great beauty and excellent technique, all divided into different categories, closely related to samples preserved in the provincial museums of Gorizia. Some of these are still used as finishes on the monastery linens. The Museo della Moda, Museum of Fashion and Applied Arts, a section of the Provincial Museums of Gorizia, was formed in 1999 from ethnographic collections that date back to the beginning of the 20th century. An important part of the exposition, even before fashion, is dedicated to the production and weaving of silk, activities that were especially important during the 18th century under the direction of Empress Maria Theresa. In the early 20th century, a valuable, significant selection of samples and fragments of lace owned by the monastery was used to form part of the museum collections, with a large number of boxes of embroidery and small tools used to create bindings and artificial flowers.
The exhibition recounts the various types of ornaments, from patterned fabrics to printed fabrics, from bands to trimming, from jewelry to lace.
Some paintings illustrate the different ways in which they were used, from clothes and accessories to hairstyles, and the different types of ornaments that included the use of the Ursuline lace, another example of Gorizia's excellence in the field of fabrics.
Quando pensiamo a merletti, pensiamo sempre a merletti della nonna, merletti del passato, molto trasparenti, molto belli, ma merletti possono anche essere molto forti, molto tridimensionali, come questo merletto ad ago barocco. Distinguiamo tra i merletti ad ago, fatti con un ago su una base che poi viene rimosso, e merletti a fuselli che si suddividono in 4 categorie. La prima, che si colloca anche nei primi merletti del 4 e 500, sono quelli a treccine, con un effetto molto filigrana. La seconda categoria sono merletti a nastrini, dove i nastrini formano il motivo a meandra e che poi vengono legati con delle barrette o un fondo, come in questo caso. Sono spesso disegni molto forti che hanno iniziato più o meno tardi Rinascimento e Barocco. Andiamo a un'altra tipologia che si chiama merletti a pezzi separati, una tipologia che viene fuori alla fine del Seicento e durante tutto il Settecento fece la fortuna di Bruxelles. In questo caso si lavorano i singoli piccoli motivi e poi si applicano su un disegno e si fa il fondo. Il tutto è molto leggero, molto trasparente. Poi segue il gruppo più difficile, è quello di merletti a fuselli a fili continui. Ed è un vero tessuto, perché si lavorano e intrecciano i fili singolarmente per creare questi fondi e motivi. Si lavorano in questo caso probabilmente circa 500 fuselli per intrecciare e creare questo tessuto meraviglioso che andava ad adornare polsi e colli di donne e uomini. I fuselli possono avere diverse forme e diversi pesi a secondo del lavoro che si fa, del tombolo che si usa e del filato più o meno fino o grosso. Avendo scelto quindi il filato fine o grossolano, con i fuselli, giusto nel peso e nella misura, si procede ad avvolgere il filo intorno al fusello. Alla fine si fa un doppio nodino avvolto e si ha una coppia di fili che tengono, che si possono spostare quando è necessario per allungare il filo. Avendo quindi questo, si procede a lavorare sul tombolo che può avere diverse forme. Può essere concavo, cioè leggermente curvo, tondo, piatto, a rotolo o in questo modo il carré nord europea, su quale viene piazzato il disegno forato a quale viene poi appeso per ogni punto necessario deciso una coppia di fuselli. Il fusello intorno al suo collo riceve il filo, quindi funge da caricatore di filo e il fusello in sé stessa anche come peso del filo.
The samples are organized in the exhibition according to their value and their unique style, to offer the visitor a true appreciation of the work of the sisters. The main body is formed of a collection of various types of samples. Some groups of lace have a single motif, but are executed in different ways, perhaps made by pupils.
Some laces are attached to each other to form a strip of different types. Some groups have floral motifs and grounds, and others with minuscule decorations that are difficult to make out, although they are still fascinating and mysterious. Others are the exceptionally fine work of a professional. Some of these are cuts taken from laces from the north and used as a source of inspiration or to teach the technique, while others were used as samples and redone in the monastery.
Other laces had larger motifs with thicker threads. Many drawings are included with the patterns, an extraordinary document that indicates how the lacemakers worked and on what basis. Many patterns are finished on the sides with no more than one repeat. That is an indication that these samples could not be used for sale, but more as a demonstration that can be followed by the lacemaker while making the lace.
The laces made in the convent were even simpler in type, with scrolls and flowers outlined and worked with bands.
This was a technique that was easy to teach and most likely used from the first years of the monastery. It is interesting to note the connections between Gorizian lace and the laces made in the 17th and 18th centuries in the territories known at that time as the Low Countries of the South, corresponding to what today is Belgium.
Siamo in Belgio, in Vallonia, a Verviers, dove andiamo a visitare una collezione di merletti presso questo museo. Eccoci all'interno del museo dove vi mostro un merletto raffinatissimo della tipologia di Binche. È molto simile ai merletti conservato presso il Museo Provinciale di Gorizia. Questo merletto è fatto da una profusione di barrette minuscole, di piccoli puntini, di reticolato e fiocchi di neve. Il particolare è che non si riconosce bene il disegno, ma è proprio questo il mistero di questo merletto leggerissimo. Questa collezione a Verviers ha anche altri merletti precedenti a questo periodo, che è della fine del 600 all'inizio del 700, e hanno anche merletti del 700 che sono tipici perché hanno un fondo e motivi spesso floreali.
In the Belgium, Germany and Netherlands of today, only few people still practice the complicated art of making continuous thread Binche lace with its minute and mysterious motifs. This technique in fact requires the use of bobbins and many years of practice. It took 7 years of apprenticeship to become a lace mistress, either in private studies or in the convents.
Another confirmation of the common styles between the laces of Belgium and Gorizia is found from examining the relics used by the Cistercian sisters in the monastery of Herkenrode near Hasselt. The laces in which the relics were wrapped, probably made in the monastery, are virtually identical